10 Things You Should Know About Copyright. 1. What is a copyright? Copyright is a set of exclusive rights granted to the author or the creator of an original work. It's usually placed at the bottom of your song or other visually perceptible media work to note that your work is copyrighted. A copyright symbol is commonly written as a C, with a circle around a letter. Interestingly enough, we also have the copyleft symbol, which indicates that the work is free for using and sharing. 2. Not everything can be copyrighted. Copyright only matters with works which is in a tangible form of expression, what can be perceived, reproduced, or otherwise communicated. Literary works including computer programs, musical works, pictorial graphics, and sculpture works, motion pictures and other audiovisual works, sound recordings, and architectural works. The de minimis principle. Copyright isn't concerned with very little things, for example, names, titles, short phrases, slogans, and ideas. 3. We don't necessarily need to register to get a copyright for our works. A copyright is automatic as soon as a new work is created, whether by a famous artist or by you, a normal person. That's why we mentioned above that the symbol copyright is not very important these days. Your work is protected by copyright whether you have the symbol on it or not. 4. Poor man's copyright. Although registering a copyright is quite a time-saving and inexpensive process, there are still some people who are either too lazy to spend few minutes learning how to do it or not generous enough to give out their money. We call these people poor man. So what is a poor man's copyright? It is the practice of sending a copy of your own work to yourself, often by an email to mark the date of its creation without paying any fees. However, there is no provision in the copyright law regarding any such type of protection, and it is not a substitute for registration. 5. Author and owner. Just because you wrote it, painted it, recorded it doesn't mean you own it. This list could go on and on because copyright law views the creator of a work and the owner of the legal rights to the work as two very different things. Author is the person who directly creates the works. An owner is the one who spends their time and money on or provides facilities that needed for the creation of the works. 6. Author's rights and owner's rights. This clarifies what can we get if we create or own a copyrighted work. Copyright comprises moral rights, rights of the author, and economics rights, rights of the owner, in which each includes smaller rights stated clearly in the model below. This model comes from Berne Convention. However, in some big countries such as United States, Russia, Australia, moral rights, or we say the right of the author, have no general protection. It is the economic rights that are more mentioned and cared about. United States, for example, protects only one group of authors, visual artists, or more accurately, those who create works of visual art. These works include paintings, drawings, prints, sculptures, and photographs, existing in a single copy or a limited edition of 200 signed and numbered copies or fewer. 7. How long can a copyright registration protect our works? In most countries, the duration of copyright is dependent on the duration of the author's life. After he dies, his estate can exercise the copyright for at least 50 more years. In many countries, the term is even longer, 70 years after the author's death. If there are multiple authors, we consider the life of last surviving author plusing 50 or 70 years depending on the regulations of each regions. 8. What happens after a copyright has expired? Pictures, compositions, and other works whose copyright protection has expired or works that were never covered by copyright law are not copyright protected and are considered in the public domain, thus can be legally used by anyone. 9. If we are neither an author nor an owner of a copyrighted work, how can we use it legally? Yes, we are talking about fair use, the law allowing you to use others' works legally without having to ask for permission. Fair use includes 4 factors, which are purpose, nature, amount, impact on the market. Purpose includes non-profit, educational purposes, and transformative use are accepted. Transformative means your use of the work is totally different from it was before. Nature is factual information designed to be cited or reused to some degree, but when it comes to creative works, it is harder to argue fair use. Amount is that you should only use a small amount of the work and then add new meanings to make it original. Impact on the market. This answers the question, does the way you use the work hurt the creator or negatively affect the sales of it on the market? Remember to consider all these factors when you have the intention of using any work which is not created on your own. 10. Creative Commons Law. Nowadays, besides copyright laws, there is a license that becoming more and more popular. It is called Creative Commons, which allows people to decide how others can use their works by setting their own rules. For example, you take a picture, post it on the internet, and you want it to reach as many viewers as possible. They can use it, share it, or edit to make it into their own works without asking for your permission, but the copyright law doesn't allow this. In this case, Creative Commons can help you. You can set your own rules when you publish the photo to let the world know how they can reuse your photos. Thanks for listening.